In this video, we're going to focus on the polar area chart angle line. So if I refresh this, as you can see here, it will nicely match with the segments. In this video, which is part 2, we're going to focus on how to create the angle lines here. So to do this, the first thing what we need to do here is go into in the options, just follow the option at the bottom here. There we are. There is a comma. We're going to create a custom plugin. There's a plugins here, and then we can call this our angle lines. So once we did this, we're going to copy this and start to create our angle lines block. So it's a constant angle lines ID will be equal to angle lines, and then we're going to say here we're going to draw this after the data set has been drawn. Data sets draw chart arcs and plugin options. There we are. So once we did this, we're going to say here constant, or we're going to do an object destructure. We're going to say chart, and then we say this will be CTX. We might need the data, we might need the scale, specifically the R scale, because we're in the radial chart or in the polar area that has a radial scale. So once we did this, we need to start working on the most complicated part. Here is understanding what is the center, but luckily it's quite easy, and then drawing the lines from there all the way out. So to do this, the first thing what I want to do is I want to give it a bit more space. So I want to go and make the chart smaller. To do this, I'm going to use a trick. In the options, we can say here layout, padding, and then we just give it here everywhere a 40 pixels of padding on top, bottom, left, and right. Save, refresh. There we are. That looks much better. So now we can draw the lines extendedly to the very top or whatever we want. So the first thing that we want to do here is know the very center here. Let me just hide the tooltip. We don't need this. Save. There we are. So what I want to do now is create a line here, but we need to know all this data here, or this the most important data. So I do console log. We're going to say here chart.get data set meta index 0 dot data. Save, refresh. Then as I do this, what will happen is I get the data, but in pixels and everything that is very useful for us. X and Y coordinates. And more specifically, we know the center of our item. So we should here see somewhere starting angle, ending angle, alright. And well, this is important, but I need to have the center of this. I realize that is in our scale as well. So that will mean let's try the R scale first. We say R, that's why we have this here, the object destructuring, save, refresh. And what I want to know is the exact center here. So we see here the X center, 348, that's this here, and the Y center, 350, 335. So what that really means is, it starts at the very 0, 0 coordinate, it will go to the right side based on the X coordinate, and then to down based on the Y, that is 335, and all that together gives us the center. So let's get this center here. This is what we need. So what I will do very simple, I say constant R, constant X center equals R dot X center. And maybe we don't even need to make this as a constant. It's quite easy to understand, but fair enough. Then what I need to know is the drawing area. What I need to know is the pixels from this to here. How many pixels exactly is that? And the drawing area will give you that information. It's this one here. To be exact, it is 278 pixels plus plus. That is the length of this, there, etc, etc. So let's get that drawing area. Constant drawing area equals R dot drawing area. So once we have this here, do we need anything else? Probably not. So the next thing what I need to do here now is do console log of the chart.get data set meta. And the reason why is I want to know how many segments we have. So if I do this and maybe do dot data, we can see how many slices we have. Well, guess what? It shows here exactly 7 slices. So we can just start to draw this now. So based on this, I can just do a for each loop. I think that will be very useful. It will show us how many there are for each. And then we say here for every data point, I want to get the index and then function error expression. Within here, what I need is the following. I want to say here ctx.save to save everything above. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw basically 7 times the line here up. But by doing that, I want to make sure it's rotated based on the angle that we need. And I realize that we need to calculate that angle still. So we have to do that one as well. So don't worry, we're going to calculate that based on the labels we have. So the first thing let's start to do is ctx.translate. Translate. And I'm going to say this will be the new 0, 0 position. So this will be the new 0, 0. That would indicate that 0, 0 is from now on this center point. So then I'm going to say here, we probably have to rotate later on, but let's draw first one. So I'm going to say ctx.begin path to draw a shape. Then I'm going to say here ctx.stroke style. Let's give it a color. I'm going to make this black for now. Do we want to have a thickness? So say ctx.line width. Maybe 3 pixels for now. 3 pixels should not be with px, but just 3. It's JavaScript, it will understand it. Then I want to say where is the coordinate of moving. That's this here, 0, 0. ctx.move to set coordinate of x. This x and y, which is 0, 0. That's our starting point. Then what I want to do is I want to say ctx.line2 to draw the connecting line, or intentionally. We don't draw it yet because this is not the command to draw, but it's just the intention to connect. And what I want to do is I want to go from here all the way up. To do that, I'll say 0 because I won't move this, but I will do the drawing area, but I want to do it negative. Why negative? This is 0, going up is then negative, and going down is positive. So once we did this, we should have now the item. So let's say ctx.stroke to draw. And before we complete this, we say ctx.restore. Remember, you need to make sure you have save and restore within this for each loop, or else you have a problem. Save this. Refresh. So now this looks fine. Let's push it up a bit more. Let's say I want to go higher, 40 pixels higher. Let's say minus 40. There we are. Alright, so now what I want to do is I want to rotate this based on every item here. So to do this, what I can do here is, well, maybe the line width can be now 2, and we can match the color. So say RGBA 102, 102, 102, and then I will say here maybe 1 or something like that. That's the grayish background color here. I'll accept that, and then we'll rotate this. Let's see how we're going to do that. I can remove this. But to rotate that, I'm going to say after the translate, I'm going to say ctx.rotation or rotate. And then here we're going to put in the value. So what is the value here? Well, the value of this will be, I guess, based on, if I refresh, you can see this rotation here. So the value of this should be based on the angle of that. So what I mean is, let me just show you. We're going to grab all of this. Console log. Because there's a moving part, and I want to grab that moving part as well. Alright, what is that? Rotate. Hide this. This is not allowed because there's no value here. Alright, so now we're getting this console log. I want to grab this, and what I want to do now is just get, I guess, the end angle. That's this one here. We'll do this. There we are. You can see the movement here, and this movement gives us the clue. So what I want to do is I want to rotate based on that. But this end angle here, the shorthand is like data label, so basically, or data point. So basically, this should be the shorthand now. So I'm going to grab this. Move that. what I'm going to do is here, do begin, not begin path, but do it in the rotation and see what we get. I know that we need to move the rotation properly. So what is going on here? As you can see here, it's a bit weird. Why? Because the starting point is somewhere here, or this is the ending point. The ending point should be here. But the reason why this happens is 0 degrees is here and not the top. So this is basically 270 degrees, or to make it very simple, we're going to use pi. 1 pi is 50% of a circle, so it's a half circle. So I need a quarter of that pi, or sorry, I need to have a quarter of a circle. So that means I need a half pi, because 2 pi is a full circle. 1 pi is a half circle, and 0.5 pi is a quarter of a circle. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to say multiply, or maybe plus, let's plus that, math.pi times 0.5. Let's see if we need to do negative, or we can keep it like that. There we are. I think that looks absolutely stunning. Alright, so now we have this working. The final item for this video series should be creating these lines here that will highlight that specific item, and then also have a hover effect on that. So we'll do that in the next video.